This evening, first, a mother found dead on her own veranda. Sonia Wilson had just returned home from working in the interior when her body was discovered in Tuschen. The police suspect she was stabbed. Detectives are searching for her reputed husband, and CCTV may hold the answers. Also, 330,000 pounds of chicken every week. The government confirms temporary imports to keep supplies steady and prices stable, while insisting local farmers will not be pushed aside. Then, fix it or dock it. Suriname's Maritime Authority gives the MV Canawaima operators until August 13 to correct serious safety deficiencies, or the ferry linking Guyana and Suriname will be barred from sailing. After the Barima tragedy, the warning carries chilling weight. Meanwhile, the charity waterfront is getting a facelift, a new market, upgraded roads, CCTV, and modern public spaces, as the Model Village initiative reaches Region 2 and more than 750 households. And a devastation in Colombia. A magnitude 7.4 earthquake kills at least 111 people, with buildings collapsed and rescuers digging for survivors trapped beneath the rubble. Those stories and more coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for August 11th, 2026. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the community of Tuschen was left shaken on Monday after a 45-year-old mother was found dead on the veranda of her home, with police suspecting she may have been stabbed. The woman had been identified as Sonia Wilson, a mother of one who reportedly worked as a cook at an interior location and had only recently returned home. Wilson's body was discovered around 3 p.m. at her Phase 1 Tuschen new housing scheme, East Bank Essequibo residence. Reports indicate that a man who visited the area to sell household appliances discovered Wilson lying motionless on the veranda and raised an alarm. Relatives and police were subsequently alerted. Residents reportedly told investigators that Wilson was last seen alive around 10 a.m. on Monday. Police investigators examined the scene and launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding her death. Detectives are reportedly hoping that nearby CCTV footage could help establish what happened and identify anyone who may have been involved. Police have also reportedly been seeking Wilson's reputed husband for questioning as investigations continue. Her body was taken to the Ezekiel Funeral Home, where it is awaiting a post-mortem examination to determine the exact cause of death. The circumstances surrounding the woman's death remains under investigation, and police have not publicly released further details. Headline News will bring you further details as they become available. Moving on, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa met with Private Sector Commission on Monday to discuss how government plans to keep chicken supplies steady and prices reasonable for consumers across Guyana. Mustafa explained that government is keeping a close eye on chicken production, supply and demand, working with poultry industry stakeholders to fix any temporary shortages quickly. As part of this, arrangements are now in place to temporarily import about 330,000 pounds of chicken every week. These imports will not replace local production. They're meant to top it and keep supplies steady while local farmers continue building up their output. The minister was clear that this is a temporary, carefully managed step designed to protect consumers without hurting local poultry producers. The new Guyana Marketing Corporation is handling the importation, with the chicken going out to local distributors and suppliers nationwide. Government says it will keep monitoring the process to make sure it's working as intended and that the market stays stable. Looking further ahead, Minister Mustafa said government is focused on expanding cold storage capacity in the poultry sector. The idea is simple. When production is high, extra chicken can be stored properly and released later when demand rises, making supply more predictable for both farmers and shoppers. The Agriculture Minister added that the overall goal is a strong, sustainable poultry industry that can reliably supply affordable chicken to consumers while giving local producers room to grow. He added that the government will keep working closely with producers, importers, and distributors to watch the market and step in when needed. The meeting with the PSC is part of a broader ongoing talks between government and the private sector, aimed at strengthening Ghana's agriculture sector, stabilizing markets, and securing the country's food supply. On a different note, Suriname's Maritime Authority has issued a stark ultimatum to the operators of the MV Canawaima: fix the vessel's outstanding safety deficiencies by August 13th or face a sailing ban starting August 14th. The warning came in a letter dated August 7th to the terminal manager of Canowima Management Company, NV, in South Dream, Naikiri, following earlier correspondence on July 26, instructing the company to submit a plan of action addressing an inspection report within 1 week. The re-inspection on August 5th found that most of the previously identified deficiencies had still not been fixed. Suriname's Maritime Authority has given the company one final opportunity to submit a plan of action, requiring a clear timetable for rectifying the deficiencies, carrying out major repairs, and dry docking the vessel. Several critical safety matters must be resolved before the deadline. All legally required safety equipment must be fully present and ready for use. In contrast, firefighting equipment must be inspected and immediately operational, along with a fully functional fire detection and suppression system. Every crew member must hold the basic safety training and crowd management certificates. Where unavailable, written proof of training completed within a month is accepted. Suriname's Maritime Authority is also requiring an independent ship surveyor to assess the watertightness of the hull and cofferdams, with a positive report a precondition for any temporary exemption from mandatory dry docking. The consequences are explicit. If measures aren't implemented by August 13, the vessel will be barred from sailing effective August 14, and the measures will remain in force until requirements are fully met. Suriname's Maritime Authority stressed that safety of the vessel, crew, and shipping traffic is paramount, calling on the company to act without delay. Stick around and return. Charity waterfront set for major redevelopment, and government moves on Tuschen land concerns. 8 families already resettled.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. The charity waterfront in Region 2 is set for a major transformation as part of the government's Model Village initiative, with plans unveiled during a community engagement session at the charity's secondary school on Monday. The redevelopment forms a part of a broader vision to reshape charity, including construction of a new market facility to replace the old charity market center, which will be decommissioned. The project is expected to create a modern commercial and recreational space while boosting tourism, local businesses, and other economic activity in the community. Residents can also expect upgrades to roads and drainage, improved street lighting, additional fire hydrants and CCTV cameras, enhanced walkways, and upgraded public spaces. Updating residents on the plans, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali said the initiative aims to build modern, sustainable, and resilient communities where residents can live safely while accessing greater economic and recreational opportunities. The president said that our villages should be more than places where we live. They should be places where opportunities and jobs are created, where we have quality recreation, streets of wellness, safe spaces. The planned works will accommodate over 750 households, with several roads and concrete drains to be developed. President Ali added that the initiative will also focus on creating opportunities for residents to become more involved in business and value-added production. In other news, following through on a promise made during a Model Village Initiative consultation, the government has begun tackling long-standing land ownership and squatting issues affecting Tuschen residents in Region 3, with 8 of roughly 20 families identified for relocation from the sea dam already resettled. Minister of Housing Colin Crowell made a disclosure on Sunday during a follow-up visit to the community after residents have raised concerns about securing ownership of the lands they occupy. Beyond the sea dam relocations, the government is also advancing regularization for residents in Area G, where occupancy exercises and block survey have already been completed. Minister Crowell said verification is now underway, after which eligible residents will move to signing, giving them a formal pathway to secure tenure. A third and more complex issue involves residents living on a land behind a church described by Crowell as church land. Before determining next steps for those occupants, the government must first establish who legally owns the land. Once ownership is confirmed, officials will access occupancy and re-engage residents to explain the way forward, including who may remain on the land and who may need to relocate. Minister Crowell said the visit reflects the government's commitment to follow through on concerns raised directly by residents, as well as a pledge made by President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali to return to the community. He noted the administration remains committed to improving access to land tenure and addressing housing and settlement challenges nationwide, particularly for residents who have lived for years without formal ownership of the land they occupy. Don't go away after the break. Haiti Electoral Council approves 15 political groups ahead of December vote, and U.S. wildfires. Tens of thousands evacuated in Washington state.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening. Tonight, Haiti clears the way for December elections, its first in years. A 7.4 earthquake kills at least 111 in western Colombia. Typhoon Dolphin batters China's eastern coast with destructive winds and flooding. And Washington state firefighters slow blaze after 65,000 people were forced to flee. We will start in the Caribbean, where Haiti's Provisional Election Council has approved 15 of 18 registered political groups ahead of the country's upcoming elections. 3 groups have been given until today to regularize their status. Candidates' registration begins August 20th, with the first round of presidential and legislative elections scheduled for December 13th. The vote is expected to be Haiti's first national elections in years, with a second round set for February 2027. At least 111 people have been killed after a magnitude 7.4 earthquake struck western Colombia, with buildings collapsing and people trapped beneath the rubble. Al Jazeera's Victoria Gatembi reports.
Rescue teams and volunteers search for survivors trapped beneath the rubble of collapsed buildings in Cali. It's one of Colombia's largest cities. Parts of it are now designated disaster zones following a powerful earthquake.
There's no electricity, no water, no power, and no internet either. And the city is practically at a standstill in terms of traffic, water, and internet service.
I heard the alert on my phone and I shouted, "Earthquake, earthquake." It was getting stronger and stronger. Thank God we survived and didn't suffer more.
The epicenter of the magnitude 7.4 earthquake was in San Jose del Palmar in the Choco region, about 400 kilometers west of Bogota. It shook towns and cities across western Colombia and was even felt as far away as Ecuador, Panama and Venezuela. The president has declared an emergency. He says his sole focus is on dealing with the disaster.
Compatriotas.
Fellow countrymen, at this moment I am heading to Bogota. I have called an emergency meeting and created a unified command post. I will be there with the entire team, making decisions and taking action. You are not alone. Colombia has a president who cares about the people and will do everything in his power to help them at the most difficult moments.
Geologists say it's the strongest earthquake to hit Colombia in the last decade. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
Typhoon Dolphin makes landfall on China's eastern coast with 150 km/h winds, triggering widespread flooding and damage. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
Typhoon Dolphin made landfall on China's eastern coast on Sunday, tipping over a truck with the force of its 150 km/h winds. In Zhejiang province, powerful gales peeled an iron roof off its building, toppled fences, and uprooted trees. Authorities had prepared for days. More than 1 million people have been moved away from vulnerable areas. Boats and ships were called back to port. Businesses and tourist sites closed. The impact was also felt further north in Shanghai, a city of 25 million. People were ordered to work from home as heavy rain flooded streets and disrupted transport.
I've been living in Shanghai for 10 years, and this is the first time I feel that the typhoon brought so much inconvenience and such floods.
Authorities cancelled hundreds of flights, stranding thousands of travelers. Dolphin is weakening as it moves inland and has been downgraded to a tropical storm. But that doesn't mean the danger is over. Authorities in Jiangxi and Hubei province warn of possible landslides and flash flooding. Emergency teams across the region remain on high alert. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera.
Firefighters in Washington state have slowed major wildfires, allowing tens of thousands to return after blaze forced about 65,000 people to evacuate in Spokane and destroyed more than 900 homes. Al Jazeera's John Hendren reports.
Chris Brill returned to her home in search of her wedding ring and found only ashes.
There's so much, just rubble from a 2-story house coming down. There's just nothing.
And that's it behind you. It doesn't look like much survived.
No. A little bit of metal here and there.
65,000 people, more than a quarter of the population of Spokane, Washington, have been evacuated as 3 massive wildfires ravaged more than 900 homes. Whole neighborhoods were leveled to their foundations, leaving hulks of cars, chimneys, and little else.
Undoubtedly, this will have to go down as one of the greatest tragedies in Spokane's history. There's no two ways around that. And I think for this part of our state, zooming out, it is going to, unfortunately, potentially be, our most disastrous fire season of all.
The Spokane fires were just a few of the hundreds of fires breaking out daily across western North America, but they were among the worst.
We are on day 10 of really a tragedy, just really unimaginable destruction. Spokane took a punch in the gut.
The Watch Duty app shows wildfires stretching from British Columbia in Canada through Washington State, Oregon, Idaho, Utah, and California, some with deadly results. In British Columbia, an 80-year-old woman died during evacuation. In Utah, 2 helicopter pilots died in a crash while firefighting. In Spokane, an urban fire ravaged this neighborhood, razing many homes to their foundations, but it was selective. That house remains standing. But fire officials warn there's much more to come. Chris Brill was able to find one thing in what's left of her home. appreciation that much more wasn't lost in the fast-moving flames.
Given the magnitude and how much destruction there is, and really how fast it was. We all made it out safe, and that's really all that matters.
As Spokane sifts through the debris, residents and firefighters braced for the rest of a fire season that's only half over. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Spokane, Washington.
Thanks, Dominic. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-minute forecast. And that's it for the 2 headline news for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.